Morning, Kayla.
Morning.
How are you?
Good.
Good.
I just took a nap again.
You just did what?
I just took a nap again.
That's hilarious. How does one do that? Just kind of like, then kind of zoned out?
Yeah.
What time do you go to bed?
Well, I stayed up late, but
Oh, man. Morning, Alex. Hi, Abby. Ooh, Alex, I like your little kitty. It's cute. Playing its video game. It looks scared. Oh, goodness. Oh, man. So have your warm-ups ready to go, because you know that's where I'm going to go. Anybody do anything fun over the weekend? See a good movie? Good takeout dinner? Hi, Landon. Hi, Amelia. Hi, Kenton. Morning, Alyssa. Morning, Logan. Morning, Ian. We'll get going here in a couple minutes. We're going to start on our warm-up. Hi, Ella. Morning, Mackenzie. Morning, Daniel. Morning, Caroline. Thank you for telling me, Logan. Morning, Connor. Morning, Kayla. Hi, Skylar.
Good morning.
How are you?
Tired.
That
That was my sister.
I was going to say, did someone say something? Is she talking on her meet too, I'm sure?
I'm getting there.
She's not in hers yet.
Oh, so is she sitting right next to you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You never brought her to show me, did you?
I don't think so.
You have to bring her to me so I can meet her when we get back. I got to see how identical is identical. Are you guys considered identical twins? Or fraternal, you know? Question out there.
Okay, there we go. I lost connection for a sec.
Oh, okay, I was talking to you and you didn't answer me. I was like, okay. Carmen, welcome. Okay, well, I'm gonna go ahead and get started, even though I know there's probably some people that'll still enter. So we're gonna start with the warm up, and then after that, we're gonna go into our notes. And remember that Those are in Google Classroom under guided notes. So you'll need to pull those up, and I believe we will finish them today. And then there'll be an assignment at the end of the block that'll be due tomorrow at the end of the day. So that's kind of the synopsis of where we're going in this time frame that we have together. So I'm going to go ahead and move into the warm-up stage here. Remember too, when we take notes, if you get behind, there's always the recording. So you have that, you know, fall back if you need it. Just waiting for my screen to present in this century. Here we go. Okay, so we'll go into Google Classroom and we'll open up those warm-ups. I needed to create a week too, which I will do, just to keep everything organized here. Okay. Make sure you will see January 11th through the 12th before you go and start that. I always forget I can't be on camera because it moves too slow. It never comes in. All right. So your question today is going to be a term that we've talked about. You just have to figure out what the word is. So what do you call a social custom that prohibits the use of certain edible resources as food? What is that called? So like in a complete sentence, you would say the social customs that prohibit certain edible resources to be used as food, you know, is, put it in a complete sentence, don't forget with caps and ends. Our warm-ups will be turned in on Thursday. They won't be due till Friday, but I mean, if you get them done Thursday, why not just turn them in? Get them, you know, off your plate of things to do. So just so you know what's coming up. You got about 25 seconds. Okay, so I'm just gonna stop sharing for just a second so that we can do just a little bit of a a little bit of a recap of things that we've talked about, just to kind of put them back in the forefront of our mind as we're kind of trudging through material today. I'm going to read off a definition, and you can look at your notes if you would like to. I mean, you should have them open anyway, because that's what we're doing today. So my first definition is, what do you call it when the beliefs and social customs of a group of people? What is that term? Beliefs and social customs of a group of people. Starts with a C. The beliefs and social customs of a group of people. And oh, culture. Thank you, Kenton. I'm like looking at my notes and I look up and there you are. So yes, thank you. Sorry for the delay. Let's see. A food that is typical of a given racial, national, or religious culture. A food that is typically of a given racial, national, or religious culture. What is that referred to? Starts with the letter E.
Is it ethnic food? Oh,
Yes, it is.
someone.
That's okay. You all chimed in at the same time. So yes, that's correct. Good job, you guys. Okay. Let's see here. A typical standard or pattern related to food and eating behaviors. Your keys there are standard and pattern related to food and eating behavior. Behavior would be another keyword, I would say. So standard pattern of behavior. This one starts with, well, the word food is in front of it, and the answer I'm looking for starts with an N. Any takers? This one is one that I asked you to write down because it wasn't in your notes, and I believe you might have written it down right after either historical or ethnic. I can't remember where I had you put it in. Does it ring a bell? From your silence, I'm going to say it doesn't. So maybe you need to put this in your notes, okay? Because I'm pretty sure it's on your test. It's food norm. Yes, Alex, right. Yes. So I'll repeat that one more time just in case you want to kind of get it in there. A food norm is a typical standard or pattern related to food and eating behaviors. So a norm really is, you know, a pattern of behavior. So like, for example, a norm that we have in our class is our warm-up every day. So every day, that is a norm for Zebka's classroom, is that we do a warm-up. So if that helps you when you're testing, thinking, okay, what was a norm again? Just think of our warm-up that we do every day, because that's our norm in my classroom, okay? Okay, let's see. I'm pretty sure we got to this one, and it is a social custom that prohibits the use of certain edible resources as food. It also was your warm-up, but if you took a good educational guess, you may not know what the answer is. Is there anyone that looked it up or remembers from before what that definition connects to? Keywords there would be prohibits. It's not ethnic.
Is it,
Go ahead, Kayla.
is it food norms?
It's not food norms because that was our last one.
Oh, wait, no, taboo.
Oh yeah, food taboo, yes. So your keyword for food taboo is that it's prohibited. You know, you wouldn't eat that. Like we talked about the Hindu culture that does not eat like cow and or cattle, and that is sacred to them, so they would never do that. Okay, so that would be like a food taboo. Let's see. Okay, I'm thinking we got to this one, but I'm not for sure. A food prepared according to Jewish dietary law. Do you remember what that one was? Your keywords there are Jewish dietary law. That should cue you in on what the answer is. Yeah, kosher. Thanks, Abby. I'm so glad you're back, by the way. Let's see. There was one more that I wanted to talk about, and that was, let's see, there might be one more. Okay. All right. Couple more. What do you call the food choice that roots back in your culture? What is that one called? Where it's roots that were developed way back when. Keyword there, way back when. What type of influence is that?
Is it the religion one?
Nope, but you're close. It's similar to that, only different. Historical. Thank you, Abby. That is right. And what do you call it when people choose what to eat because of their geography? What is that called? Yes, regional. And then the one that Kayla just gave, but it should have gone with that teaches the use of food and the teaching of affects the culture. So that would be the religious influence. Okay. Give me 1 second here. Okay. Sorry. The pupper wanted to come in. Okay. So that's just our quick little recap. Can I get someone to verify either in the chat or verbally that we are on to the social influences on food choices? Can I just get a yes or no that that's where we are?
Yeah.
Thank you. All right. So that's kind of where we're going to pick up our notes today. So kind of have those on your screen and be ready to write. Remember that if I do tend to go faster than what you can write, don't panic. Just skip and stay with us in the notes, and then watch the recording, and you can fast forward that. You can pause it. You know, it makes life a little bit easier than trying to like keep up with every single detail. But remember, notes are yours as far as what you write and how much you write. So just make sure you get the gist of it on your paper. Okay, so I will read the definition to the food taboo, Caroline. So listen up, Missy. It's a social custom that prohibits the use of certain edible resources as food. A social custom that prohibits the use of certain edible resources as food. Do you want me to recap that one more time? Okay. I'm doing food taboo, right? Yeah. Okay. So food taboo is a social custom that prohibits the use of certain edible resources as food. And you could put in parentheses just to cue your memory while you're studying this. The Hindu culture, remember that they don't eat cattle or cow or whatever. So a social custom that prohibits the use of certain edible resources as food. So obviously you can eat a cow with the meat that it provides, but they choose not to eat it, even though, you know, it's a resource that's in that country, but they just don't do that. Okay, so let's move into our PowerPoint, and we'll get started here this morning. Waiting for that screen share to get up. Okay, here we go. Okay, so let me know if you have any trouble viewing the slideshow here. If anybody puts anything in the chat that I need to know about, please let me know so that I can address it. But we're going to first talk about family and how that is a social influence. Okay, so I have notes in front of me, so sometimes I go off I don't read exactly what's on the slide, so don't panic. But what you want to get in your notes are the stuff that's underlined. That would be your main focus, okay? All right, so for many families is the most powerful influence on food choices. You know, you learn habits from your parents, like, you know, your table manners, how to eat certain foods. You know, sometimes people pick up their food, other times they don't pick up their food. I mean, that's just an example of how, you know, your parents might show you how to eat certain things. We have traditions in our families a lot of times. We have, you know, holiday type of traditions. We have birthdays, other types of special occasions. Sometimes we get involved with our parents' likes and dislikes. So I can't remember if I shared this or not, but did we do this one already? Do you know?
Yeah.
We already did this.
We did.
Where are we?
We did both family and friends.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, I think I remember talking about likes and dislikes, and I don't want to bore you with the details. Okay, so one thing I don't think I had you put on your notes, and I'd like you to do so right after family, if you could, is the word values. Did we do that? Do you know, Kayla?
I don't think so.
Okay, so if you wouldn't mind putting this, because it is in a worksheet that I'm giving you, and it could also be on the test, so I just want to make sure I cover it so you're not blindsided when it comes to your assessment. So, and most of you know this anyway, but write the definition for value down. So the definition of a value are beliefs and attitudes that are important to people. So value are beliefs and attitudes that are important to people. Values are beliefs and attitudes that are important to people. So, you know, one thing that is kind of dying in our culture a lot of times is eating at the table. There's some families that value that and feel like it's really important. And then there's other families that, because of their situation, they don't have a ton of time to eat together. You know, like if a parent is working a certain shift or something like that, they may not be able to sit down as a family just because of the restraints of their job. So that's kind of a dying thing. Half of families in the US still eat at least one meal per day together. So how many of you eat at least one meal with your family? Could you put a 1 in the chat if you eat at least one meal with your family, and 0 if you don't eat with your family? Okay, interesting. Kind of a 50-50, I would say, maybe a little bit higher on the eating together side, but nonetheless. So those are just some things, one thing that, you know, a family might value, and then, you know, carry that on or not. You know, it just depends on circumstances a lot of times. Okay, so just make sure you have that down. Like I said, I believe it's something that you're going to need to know for your test. I'm pretty sure we talked about friends, like Kayla just told me. We talked about, you know, what you typically eat with your friends, where you might eat it, when. So we talked about that, and then we just left off with the status food. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. I gotta get my notes right here. Okay, so status foods. A status food is a food that has social impact on others. It's usually an expensive food. So like the one that's in the picture right there is caviar. So that would be a status type of food. You know, you mainly associate it with people that have money or have some form of status in society that would be held to a high standard of quality and eat types of foods like that. Okay. So, you know, like I said, money, wealth, position in the community, things like that. Can you think of another type of status food besides caviar that might be, or what you might consider a status food? Does anyone have any thoughts on what you refer to as a status food besides caviar? Well, I was thinking like lobster. I mean, I don't typically have lobster. I think I've had it one time in my lifetime. Wasn't a big fan. I would prefer probably like crab over lobster, but I can still consider it a kind of a status that might. Another one would be you guys know what escargot is? The Alaska, ooh, yeah, definitely Alaskan truffles. Okay, that's a mushroom. That's a, yeah, McKinsey escargot are snails. So, I don't know that I'd eat a snail, whether it's a status food or not, but sometimes those are associated with, money or status in a culture that you're eating that. I'm trying to think of one more. I think Logan took it from me. I was going to say like crab, the big crab legs, that are like $50 for one. So you understand why those crab boat people make so much money, just because it's an expensive food product. All right. Oh, I'm still presenting. Whoopsie. Okay, so moving on to the next piece, which is the media. Okay, so for media, we have that advertisements and news reports can alert you to food trends, new products, and the latest nutritional advice. So like right now, because New Year's was just the other day, people are making resolutions to be fit. They're, flying up at the gym, buying the latest products. So you really see a boom in those areas, just because everyone's, making their New Year's resolution and, advertisement and through news reports. Like I can't tell you how many times I've seen the Planet Fitness commercial on TV, and that they're $10 up until a certain time, that there's no obligation, $10, and that entices people a lot of times to get them in there. So you're going to see like a boom at the gym for a good couple months, and then it's going to taper off because people are going to forget about the New Year's resolutions, or old habits die hard, things like that. People don't even realize that they're influenced by advertisements, but it's constant. We see advertisement all the time. Become aware of the media influences on you. Measure products and claims using logic rather than emotion. So, really kind of researching what the claim is. I can't tell you again, how many times I see advertisement for like this magical pill that's gonna, melt your weight away, or, something new on the market. You got to really read through the fine print and read, how successful that is before you jump in with 2 feet and become disenfranchised with, that it's not doing what it said it was out to do. So just be a knowledgeable consumer. Okay, so moving on to the next one is the techniques that advertisers use. Okay, so the title of each slide is what goes under selling food. So your first one is ads everywhere. So, ads are everywhere. They're in magazines, on websites, even buses, obviously billboards. Even in the movies, you go and you sit there for 10 minutes and watch previews. A lot of that is backed by, commercials, displays, packaging, clothing, people wearing things around. I mean, that's free advertisement. And you buy a t-shirt that has something on it, you're not getting paid to wear it. You're just free advertising for whatever company, made the shirt. So just keep that in mind. But they're everywhere, Your next one for number 2 is looking good. So foods and ads often look better than real life. There'll be an extreme close-up that triggers our, sense of taste and smell, makes us crave the food. But when you get the food, it doesn't look like that. And there's a couple pictures coming up that will show that. Then you have celebrities that are put in front of the camera and talking about whatever they're eating, how great it is, everybody should try it. Sometimes for kids, they use cartoon characters because they can't always relate to, a celebrity if they're not familiar with that celeb. Or movies or TV characters are used a lot of times to get kids influenced by whatever product is being sold. So celebrities was number 3. Number 4 is health claims. So many ads claim to, imply that the product is good for you. They might use specific words. There has been products that have made the claim that it's light, and it's really referring to the color of the product, not that it's light in calories or something along those lines. So they are going to convince you to buy their product by the unclear claim or inaccurate information that they're providing on the front of their packaging, if you will. So number 4 was health claims. Number 5 is claims about taste or popularity. So they describe the food as being delicious or popular to sell the product. So you see the picture there where you got your Whopper and the advertisement looks very enticing and delicious. But then you go there and you look in your bag and open up the packaging and it looks like the one on the right hand side, where it's kind of smushed all together. You can't see onion or tomato, barely lettuce. And, it's deceiving the consumer. So it kind of exaggerates it a little bit. And number 5 is overdoing it. So ads may show big portion sizes or people who can't stop eating the product, both of which encourage you to eat a lot. Have you guys seen that new Cheese Nip commercial where they have like a study group that's behind plexiglass and you have the researchers that are looking in and they're watching the people eating the cheese nips and they're going cuckoo over the cheese nips and can't stop eating them? Well, that's a ploy for advertisement. They're trying to show that you can't stop eating this product. That's how good it is. And people will it will resonate with people when they're in the store and they will buy the cheese nips. So that's just one example of overdoing it a bit. All right, so now we're going to move into merchandising techniques. So actually, this one is not on your slideshow. Okay, so I'm just going to read through it, but it's just other approaches that are used by advertisers. So they offer coupons to get people to buy their product, buy one, get one free. You have those severe couponers. There used to be a show about it where they, have all this product in their houses, but, a lot of it is perishable where it's going to only last a short period of time. So you're buying 20 of them. When are you going to be able to use 20? Whatever it is, like we said, movies and TV, contests, games or giveaways, donations, many points of sale where they're around the store, specifically in those areas to draw consumers in, and then self-position. So we're going to kind of talk about some of those. Okay, so here's your merchandising techniques. So the first one is impulse temptation. So like all potato chips, candies, soft drinks are distributed throughout the store to get the customer to walk past them. So perhaps they'll buy them. So if you think about like Meijer and Walmart, when you're shopping, they usually have in the center aisles, like displays of chips. Like I'm thinking of Walmart right now where I walk past at least in the center aisle, like right down the middle, 2 displays, even maybe 3 of chips. Okay. So they're just trying to get the consumer to walk by it many times and eventually reach out and grab one. So those are called impulse temptations. That's your number 1. Number 2 is shelf placement. So pricey products generally sit on the highest shelves, the top shelves. The lower shelving is basically destination products. The bottom shelf is the least popular or generic. And then at eye level is where consumers can reach out. They're the most competitive, highest impulse, enticing products. So they pay for that shelf. The distributor pays for that shelf so that they can have the consumer at eye level and that's what they see first. They have to look up or look down for other products. So usually you're going to see probably the name brands at reaching level. The generic ones are going to tend to be a little bit lower than that. The ones that probably don't sell as well, I would say would be up top or even way at the bottom. So shelf placement is really important. Like when I think of the cereal aisle, I think of, like a little kid walking down the cereal aisle, and all of the sugary cereals are kind of at eye level for like a young child, so that they could reach out and grab like Lucky Charms because of the little leprechaun on the front, or Fruit Loops because of Toucan Sam. These are all characters that they're going to see and resonate with them as being a product that is for them. Where as an adult, maybe yours is a little bit higher than that. Still a type of sugar cereal, but all the healthy cereals are usually on the top. So you kind of have to raise your head up to be able to see those types of cereals. So the next time you're in the store, just kind of be thinking of some of these things that we've talked about. Point of sale. So impulse items are placed at or near checkout lanes to get customers to purchase more. So those are up there as a point of sale. Usually you're going to see like think of something that you might forget in the store to buy. Like I think chapstick is one, always up there by the cashiers. People can just grab it. They think, oh shoot, I forgot to go back and get that. But when you go back to the department where there's chapsticks, there's all these different kinds, different prices. They're going to put the most expensive chapstick, which is Burt's Bee. And those are always the ones that are up at the cash register. So FYI. Promotional placement. So they're going to have promotion products with the highest profile margins on the store's end caps. So you, next time you go to the store, look at the foods on the end caps. They also have dump bins, which are usually closeout or really cheap products that they put in those, that they get in kind of a bulk. So when I worked at Menards, we would get bulk items that would come in, and they're just kind of cheaply made, and we would just throw them in this big, huge bin that is at that store, and it's just, cheap quality things and things that they can buy in bulk, so they get a lot for their money. Okay, so now I'm down to number 5, which is store planning. So there is a means to the madness of why they put eggs and milk in the back of the store. Those are what we call food staples. And I'm going to get to that word, but those are things that we need pretty much every day. And so they want the consumer to have to walk into the store and walk by many, many things to get to the milk and eggs. And then they'll do an impulse buy, oh shoot, I needed that, or that looks really good, I'm going to buy that. Or, I go by the 2-3 displays of chips and realize that I need Doritos, or, so there's a reason why those things are in the way back of the store, to get the consumer to purchase those things, and not consumer, but the business makes money because of that. Then you have stimulate the appetite. So when they use really bright lights as soon as you walk in, right on the produce, it just kind of draws your eye and, entices you to, look at the fruit and, think how delicious it looks. So they try to use that, to kind of entice the consumer to buy that delicious fruit that looks so great under the lights. So sometimes they try to stimulate your appetite with certain lighting or colors or things like that. And then the last one is in-store sampling. So we haven't been able to enjoy that one for quite some time. I can remember going to Sam's and walking through and be like, okay, well, that was my lunch for the day. So usually they're going to have those products to entice the consumer to buy it. Sometimes they have like an overstock. Sometimes it's a new product on their shelves and they want to introduce it so people will buy it. So there's lots of reasons why that occurs. Like I said, unfortunately, we haven't been able to partake in that, but it'll come back and we'll be tasting again in the stores. Okay. So we're on to our homeward stretch here. And this is where we talk about personal influence on food choices. That emotional piece that we have. Okay, so emotional responses to food. So you may reach for comfort food when you feel stressed or unhappy. So that would be considered our comfort food. We associate it with either pleasant or unpleasant moments. And, like when you get older, you'll probably come home to your parents' house and, they'll either make your favorite meal or you'll ask for something that, that they always used to make you when you were home with them. And it just kind of comforts us and makes us feel happy. Like maybe on a cold winter day and you were to sit down with a warm bowl of soup or something warm, that can alleviate stress, make you happy just because it just feels inviting. So those are all things that can invoke certain things. When I say one of these words in the chat, tell me how it makes you feel. Okay, so if I said the word, if I said the word chocolate, what kind of feelings would that invoke in you? What do you think of when I say chocolate? Just put in the chat something that, how does that make you feel? Chocolate, hungry. I think it's like, for me, it would be, I would think of it as a treat. Ramos says Halloween. Okay. So I treat it as, something that I don't typically have a ton of. So when I get to eat it, it's kind of a treat. What resonates with you when I say spinach? So one word I would probably use would be healthy. Okay, that's fair. Salad. Okay, yeah. Ew. Okay. What about if I said the word ice cream? What would that say to you? What is a word that comes to mind when I say ice cream? Lunch? Seriously? Better than cake. Okay. I think of another treat or stomach problems. Okay, so lactose issues probably. Cold. I don't typically eat ice cream in the winter just because it's cold and I'd rather have something warm. But in the summer when it's super hot, then it's refreshing or, something that I'm going to look forward to type of thing. So in the assignment, I'm going to give you words like that and you're just going to react to them. Okay. So that's one of pieces of the assignment that we're going to talk about. I'm going to try to finish up this slideshow here. Okay. Then we have using foods to deal with emotion. So, cortisol, cravings, blood sugar drops, social eating, and then nervous energy. So sometimes people eat for those certain reasons that play a part in their food choices. Okay. Okay. All right, and then using food for reward and punishment. So rewards undermine healthy eating, often lead to either a person overeating, cavities, weight gain, and then punishment by making a child clean their plate encourages bad eating behaviors, eating when not hungry. So it's not always a good idea. Like when I was growing up, my parents would make me sit there and eat it. I remember a friend of mine's parents, they squirted ketchup on their plate and they had way too much. And so the parent made them eat it. So I don't hear that as much in today's society, but back in the day, there was quite a few stories like that. Can you guys think of some reward foods that you've been given by a parent, a teacher, or somebody else? A reward food? Can you put in the chat what a reward food that you were given? Ooh, who gives out ice cream? Ooh, who gives out pizza? Parents probably. Candy, yep, that's the one I was thinking of too, Mackenzie. Okay, so, you got to be careful with those things just because they could lead to poor choices. A severe side effect of punishing a child would be that they might, revert and really seclude themselves from eating, and then that could cause all sorts of things, form of eating disorder possibly is the severest case. All right, and then I believe I'm on to the last slide, but I want you to add a couple things to your slideshow there. Okay, so our individual preferences would be daily routines, and then there's that value. Shoot, I knew it was in here, but I couldn't remember where it was. So you already have values somewhere, so you'll have that definition that should go here. Whoopsie. And I want you to add a couple things to your note pages. It's not a ton, but because this is also something that I need to add in. So hopefully you got daily routine and values, and I'm going to open this next section, and I need you to add this stuff in if you could. And let me call it up here. I had this set, but of course, oh, there it is. Okay. All right, so this is what I need you to add to your notes. There's other impacts on food, and there's 4 of them. There's agriculture, technology, economics, and politics are all factors that can affect what items are sold in stores. So put those in your notes, please. Okay, so just put other impacts on food choices are those 4: agriculture, technology, economics, and politics. And if you're good at note taking, you could have abbreviated all of that and alleviated having to write the whole word. Okay, you don't need to write these down, but these are just some sources needed to grow crops. So you need to have a fertile soil, you need to have an adequate water supply, a favorable climate, technical knowledge, and then human energy to be able to grow crops. Now, this is the one definition that you will need to write down. So a staple food is what we call a mainstay food in the diet. So it's a typical diet of a region is based on the food that's grown well in that area. So we consider it a mainstay. You know, like for example, rice in Asia, rye in Asia, corn in South America. So those are just what we call staple foods. And the definition is a mainstay food in the diet. And that's one definition that you will need to know. Okay. All right, so here's just a little definition about technology. So technology is the application of certain body of knowledge. So we talked about, you know, machinery, processing, transport, all of those things are part of how food get on our table. And, you know, how they get into the stores and are able to be sold by companies that just make it, you know, easy for a consumer to get the product. So just have something on the lines of technology being the application. And then one more, and then we're done. Okay, so for the economics piece of it is that it takes money to buy, grow, process foods, and then without money, poor countries wouldn't have food available. Okay. Is there anybody that needs this slide still? Okay,
Me.
I will leave it right there.
I'm done.
Okay. Okay. All right. So now I want to show you what I'd like you to be working on, and it's really simple, so hopefully you'll think so too. Okay, so I'm going to go back into Google Classroom here, and I'm going to open up this assignment I have. It's called WS, which stands for worksheet, and then it's food choices. So I'm going to explain it, and then I'll take questions. All right, let me open this up. Okay, so the first part says, read the quotes below about food choices and then identify the factor influencing each choice. Select your answer from the following. So I highlighted these in different colors to draw attention to them. So these are your answers. You just have to put them in the blanks, and you could just do a copy paste deal. So it just kind of gives quotes, and then you have to figure by reading the quote if it's, you know, cultural or regional or social or religious, okay? And there's 10 of those. And then you go down to the next section, and this is where you look back in your notes for the definitions. So in green, I tried to highlight all the terms that go 1 through 10. Okay, so like food norms, food taboos, staple foods, you would go ahead and just write those words in there. I know the line's kind of short, but you know, you can just write it in there and the line will move for you. So all of the words are in the parentheses that you'll use. And then at the very bottom, this is where you react to the word. So basically, you know, quickly write any mental connections each of the following foods call to your mind. So for instance, you might think a given food is fattening or feminine or healthful. A food might make you think of certain places, events, or groups of people. So compare your mental connection with those of your classmates. We'll probably do that later. But, you know, you just go through and just tell me what that food resonates with you, okay? So like, for example, the first one for me, because I'm a teacher, is apples. I would put teacher here, okay? Okay. All right, so now I will take questions if you have them on this worksheet. Is there anyone that has a question? Do you want to do that first one? We can do one together to kind of give you an idea of how that plays out. For number 1, your keyword there is French. So it says escargot. How can French people bear to eat snails? So the keyword is French. I'm hoping that you'll get it by that, but you know, is there anybody that wants to take a guess at that one?
Cultural?
Yeah, good, cultural. So that's the word that you can put in that blank. Let me go back here. Okay, so you could just highlight and Control X and then Control V right here. And I'm sure you all know that. Okay. So you're just going to keep on going down, filling it out, and then go on to the next page. And then I need it to be turned in by tomorrow by 11:59 p.m. So you have all day today to work on that. So hopefully you can get it done and get it turned in. So I will take any questions that you had for me about this.
Are you gonna post a recording of the meet today?
I most certainly am, yes. And usually as soon as we X out of here, then it releases it to me. And, I can get it in as soon as I possibly can. So I hope that's soon enough. Like I said, are you talking about the video? As soon as I can, but it takes a few minutes for it to download and then for me to download it and get it where it needs to go. So, I will get it there as soon as I can. Would it help? I mean, I can always copy fifth hours from yesterday. I mean, we did basically the same thing with that. Maybe I'll just do it that way. And I mean, it goes through the same notes and everything like that. So maybe that's what I'll do. If you guys need it ASAP, can somebody tell me if that sounds good, or if you just as soon watch your own class time? Caroline, or I thought, well, maybe not Caroline. Yeah, Caroline, I think you were the one that asked me that. And then Ramos, do you want me to do that? Put in fifth hours recording into the live stream so that you'll have it. Hello, Ramos. Okay. All right, so maybe that's what I'll do. I'll still download that video and maybe switch it out once it downloads. But if you want it right away, then I will just switch over fifth hours from yesterday. Okay, so unless you have questions for me, I'm all set. And try to get that into me by tomorrow. Okay, it just probably take you a good 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and you'll be done with it. Have a good one, guys. Thank you, Kenton. Mackenzie, you have any questions for me? All right, Mackenzie, I'm going to X you out.